like to have played in Jacksonville. But the fact of the matter is, the Jets were appealing. Rex Ryan, the Jets head coach, really wanted Tim Tebow in New York. The Jets front office wanted Tim Tebow in New York. The coaching staff wanted Tim Tebow in New York. And ultimately, their support made the difference. And that is why Tim Tebow is going to wind up with the Jets.
Adam, the Jets gave Mark Sanchez more money, redid his deal a few months ago. So what would the Jets' plans be for Tim Tebow on their roster?
I think the plan right now is to bring in the best players that you could bring in. And Tim Tebow will be the backup quarterback, despite the fact that the Jets signed Drew Stanton last week as well, the former Lions backup. And they'll use Tebow in an unconventional way. They'll use him in third down packages. But here's the issue in New York. The question is, what happens when Mark Sanchez struggles? And the question is, it'll be a distraction for Sanchez, all the fans chanting for Tim Tebow to be put into the lineup. The Jets have a different animal on their hands right now. It's Tebow Mania, and Tebow Mania is going to be moving to New York.
Former Dolphins coach Tony Sparano is now on Rex Ryan's staff. He liked to run that Wildcat offense down there in South Florida. What role do you think he had in terms of convincing Rex Ryan and Tannenbaum, the GM, to go out and trade for Tebow?
Well, I think this is a collective organizational decision. When you make the move to trade for somebody like Tim Tebow, everybody has to be on board with it, Tony Sparano included. He's the offensive coordinator. He's going to be the one in charge of coming up with plays for Tim Tebow. So clearly, Tony Sparano had to be on board here, and he was. And that's ultimately why the Jets were as aggressive as they were in pursuing Tim Tebow, and tonight completing that trade for Tim Tebow for the second time in one day. So after it didn't work this morning, the two sides went back and forth all day. For a while, it looked like the Jaguars were going to get in and get that deal done, but now the Jets have.
All right, you mentioned the coaching staff all on board. What about the players in that Jets locker room? Are they all on board with Tim Tebow joining their team, in your estimation?
Well, we saw the tweet. We saw the tweet yesterday from Antonio Cromartie, but literally this just came down literally moments ago. So this is something the Jets are going to have to process, and the Jets players will be speaking about this for the rest of the week and really the rest of the offseason. It's an issue that was not going to go away anytime soon. We've heard one of the Jets, Antonio Cromartie, already be outspoken about this particular issue. He may not be the last, but clearly Tim Tebow, his presence in the Broncos locker room was always an asset. And I think once the players meet him, there's a feeling around the league that they will like Tim Tebow.
All right, Adam Schefter reporting that the Jets and the Broncos have agreed on a trade, the second agreement of a trade for Tim Tebow to head to the Big Apple, and they decided to split that $5 million roster bonus he was due.